Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew, and today is Thursday, November 24th, 2016. It's our Thanksgiving edition, and here's a look at what's coming up.
Tonight on the InfoWars Nightly News. We hope you're taking time this Thanksgiving holiday to cherish your families and remember what makes America great.
I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Let freedom ring, and when this happens...
Happy Thanksgiving from the InfoWars Nightly News crew.
I want to thank the listeners and viewers of InfoWars. We've changed the world. Even mainstream media admits that we're bigger than CNN, we're as big as Fox, we're bigger than the BBC, on Quantcast, you name it. I want to thank you all for your support. And on this Thanksgiving and this Black Friday that's coming up, we're going to extend free shipping store-wide to people specifically that have the promo code FREE. Some of the specials are as high as 50% on incredibly high-quality products like Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver. That's 50% off and free shipping. That is a lost leader at InfoWarsStore.com. Trump is My President shirt is about to sell out. It's limited edition. It is for sale at cost, $9.95, shipping included. All you have to do is put in promo code FREE at checkout to get free shipping on top of discounts up to 50% off store-wide at InfoWarsStore.com. You can also call toll-free, 888-253-3139. But for myself, the InfoWars family, and everybody else in this fight, I want to salute and thank all of you for your support. Whatever you do, keep spreading the articles, the videos, to everybody you know. It is absolutely devastating the globalists because we're on the march and the frickin' empire is on the run.
Welcome back. Joining me in the studio is Darrin McBreen, my good friend, and it is Thanksgiving. We've got a lot to be thankful for, but what are we most thankful for, Darrin?
I'd say thanks for Trump. Absolutely.
I can't feel so good to say, let me tell you.
Still celebrating, by the way.
Yeah, and now let's look at what Trump's going to do in his first 100 days.
Today, I would like to provide the American people with an update on the White House transition and our policy plans for the first 100 days. Our transition team is working very smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Truly great and talented men and women, patriots indeed, are being brought in, and many will soon be a part of our government, helping us to make America great again. My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers. As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time. These include the following. On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important. On national security, I will ask the Department of Defense and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop a comprehensive plan to protect America's vital infrastructure from cyber attacks and all other form of attacks. On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. On ethics reform, as part of our plan to drain the swamp, we will impose a 5-year ban on executive officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the administration, and a lifetime ban on executive officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. These are just a few of the steps we will take to reform Washington and rebuild our middle class. I will provide more updates in the coming days as we work together to make America great again for everyone, and I mean everyone.
That's right. He said everyone. He means everyone. Even the cast of Hamilton, I think, is included in this.
It's pretty awesome.
But what did he do on that same day? He brought in the heads of like all the mainstream media and basically chewed them a new one.
God,
I got to give thanks for that.
I would have loved to have been there.
I hope there's video of this because
Lester Holt was there. I mean, he just
Wolf
basically
Blitzer, Stephanopoulos,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically reamed them all. He chewed him a new one and said, "You're a liar, and your whole group is full of liars." And he says he's ashamed of them. It's just great to see somebody talking off the cuff when we've had so much political correctness going on
Absolutely.
in our world.
Absolutely.
So I'm really happy to see that. What are you thankful for with President Trump so far?
Well, I'm thankful that he got in there. Never thought I would live to see the day where we actually brought in an anti-establishment candidate and we win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And I think if it wasn't for the internet and if it wasn't for social media, independent media, we'd probably be looking at a Jeb Bush presidency or a Hillary Clinton presidency, because it's always been Hillary Clinton and the establishment media versus Donald Trump and the social media, independent media. Yours truly, INFOWARS. And so I'm very thankful that we actually did it. We got a lot of work to do, though. A lot of work to do.
We do have a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of misinformation coming out. Kissinger comes out and says, "Oh, I think we can mold Trump."
Sure.
And I think that's total BS. But, you know, then you have the BET founder saying, let's give Trump a chance. So you've got, you know, and Black Entertainment Television. That's good to see, you know, a leading voice in the black community come out and say, hey, let's give Trump a chance. Let's see what happens. Even Tom Hanks has kind of reversed course and said, you know what? I hope in 4 years I'm going to be wanting to vote for President Trump after he played like a hick racist in a bunch of these anti-Trump skits on Saturday Night Live.
All kinds of weird things going on with celebrities right now. You've got Green Day with their the American Music Awards. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA during their live performance. And then on the flip side, what is up with Kanye West lately? He sounds like Alex Jones, and now it looks like he needs to go to a re-education camp or something.
Well, you know, you can't be TWB, Trump while black.
Yeah.
You have to toe the line of that people like Jay-Z and Beyonce have established, which is back the slavery candidate, the pro-mental slavery, the pro-plantation candidate.
Democrat plantation.
And yeah, so poor Kanye is now, but he's also a workaholic. So that may have something to do with it. But let's hope he doesn't come out and then say, I am sorry, I am now a drone. Donald Trump.
Hey, but he wasn't afraid to get booed by a huge audience. So there was a lot of people there.
Now, the big news, McBreen, is it came out in the New York Times. Trump drops threat of new Hillary investigation. That's the big headline now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't believe that. I don't think that's true. And then Joe Biggs came in here and was talking to us. And there's an article now from Fox News that basically says it's wrong. And they link to the tweets from this, let's see, her name is Maggie Haberman. And she was there in this meeting that he had with the New York Times. And so everybody's pointing to this tweet here. It says, my inclination would be for whatever power I have on the matter is to say, let's go forward. And this has been looked at for so long ad nauseum, talking about a Clinton investigation, a new Clinton investigation.
Which I don't like the sound of that.
But then you go down a little farther. It says, you know, and he also says, I want to move forward, and he's not looking to go back through this. All right, but then Trump says no when asked if he's taking investigations off the table for Clintons, but as he doesn't want to hurt the Clintons. So he's not taking them off the table. He's not saying he's not going to investigate. And really, it's not going to be him doing the investigation. It's going to be Jeff Sessions.
New sheriff in town when it comes to Attorney General. New sheriff in town. Well, you know that phrase, are your ears burning? Like I would call my mom sometimes and she would say, are your ears burning? I was just talking about you. Well, I want to know if Donald Trump's feet are burning right now, because I'm going to hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire. He made a campaign promise to prosecute Hillary Clinton. And remember, one of the more famous, or one of the more popular chants during the Trump rallies, lock her up, lock her up. So I really hope that he's going to go after her.
One of the more popular shirts, Hillary for
president. I mean, come on, you know, so it was like every fifth person, and, you know, we saw so many of them there at the Trump rallies. I wonder if this isn't some kind of smoke screen, because the more, I mean, if let's say Obama has a sense that Trump is really going after Hillary, then the more likely he might pardon her. So maybe he wants to just look like, hey, it's all going to be good. And
I think he's going to wait till January 20th and after, when he becomes sworn in as president. And then, you know, it's after the inauguration. Then he's going to be free to go after, to launch those investigations. And then Kim.com came out and said in a tweet, substantial new leaks about Clinton crime family can be expected after the inauguration of President Trump.
Good.
So Ken.com seems to be in the know. He's got some links to the WikiLeaks people. He says he doesn't have any of these emails in his possession, but he does say that he knows. I guess he's got some inside scoop of what's going on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And right now, Obama's running around saying, oh, we got to worry about fake news. Fake news is the thing to look after. Notice that. It's like all of a sudden they've turned on the faucet for fake news, yet we keep catching them in fake news. We just pointed it out, how the New York Times said, oh, he's not going to go after Clinton. Then when you read the tweets, he said he's not taking it off the table. So he never said he's not going to go after him. He just said, we're going to wait and see. He really doesn't want to go through with it, though. He said, oh, I'm going to feel bad about being thrown into that briar patch.
I'd like to give her time to heal, but hey, this whole fake news thing is, look, the mainstream media is in shock. The establishment media, and the entire establishment, for that matter, they're in total shock right now, because they really did expect Hillary to rig the election and win it.
So what are they resorting to? They're resorting to things like this new Hamilton controversy that has been around since, since early this week, talking about how the Hamilton cast got up and talked to Mike Pence and how it was so bad. Well, here's my take on this. And then I guess to finish up the show, we're just going to go to a bunch of reports that shows why we're thankful that Trump is our president. Rob Dew with INFOWARS.com, and I want to weigh in on the Hamilton controversy because I'm sick of hearing about it, for one, and I'd hope to put it to bed with this statement. But first, let's look at what Hamilton star Brandon Dixon said to Vice President-elect Mike Pence back on November 18th.
You know, we had a guest in the audience this evening. And Vice President-elect Pence, I see you walking out, but I hope you will hear us just a few more moments. There's nothing to boo here, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to boo here. We're all here sharing a story of love. We have a message for you, sir. We hope that you will hear us out. And I encourage everybody to pull out your phones and tweet and post, because this message needs to be spread far and wide, okay? Vice President-elect Pence, we welcome you, and we truly thank you for joining us here at Hamilton, an American Musical. We really do. We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights, sir. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us. All of us. Again, we truly thank you for sharing this show, this wonderful American story told by a diverse group of men and women of different colors, creeds, and orientations.
So by the morning of November 19th, this was everywhere, how the cast called out Mike Pence and the crowd was booing him, and they made it such a big deal that conservatives were then forced to respond and say, how dare the cast of Hamilton speak out and bully Mike Pence? Well, first of all, you just saw it. There was no bullying going on. In fact, he said, hey, let's not boo. I've got a message, and everybody record this and put it out on social media. That's what this is about, people. This is about the free expression of ideas. There was nobody being attacked. There was nobody being threatened. So like he just said in the video, we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and work on behalf of all of us. Well, I don't think anywhere during the campaign did Mike Pence or Donald Trump say, hey, Make America Great Again is only for a certain number of people. It's only for this group of people over here. That's what the left tried to portray it as, that it was this racist, sexist, homophobic guy who was going to get into the presidency. And I'm going to show you in a little bit how that's clearly not the case. But conservative talk show hosts and media then jumped on the bandwagon and piled on and started looking into this guy's past, Brandon Dixon. Oh, he called women hoes. He's done this. He's sexist. He's racist. Where is that getting us? Really? Really? Okay. The right likes to go after the SJWs, and every time they cry about something and talk about them being butthurt. This is clearly a case of the right being butthurt over really nothing. So I want to encourage the right just to let it die. Let this thing die and let's move on with our lives. And the left wants to go, oh, we got Mike Pence. We told him. No, you didn't. They just asked for something that is really already happening. And I'm going to show you this right now. Back in 2000, Donald Trump was interviewed by the gay magazine The Advocate, and he actually attacked Bill and Hillary Clinton for their treatment of homosexuals. In fact, here's an excerpt. So when asked why gays and lesbians should be interested in you as a presidential candidate, now this is back in 2000, he said, I grew up in New York City, a town with different races, religions, and peoples. It breeds tolerance and all truth. I don't care whether or not a person is gay. I judge people based on their capability, honesty, and merit. It gets better. Would we see gay people in a Trump administration? I want to see the best and brightest. Sexual orientation would be meaningless. I'm looking for brains and experience. If the best person for the job happens to be gay, I would certainly appoint them. So I think that says it all, and that was back in 2000, 16 years before he actually ran for president.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Another reason I don't think this is a big deal is because I, being a theater major, know actors. And actors love applause. They love adoration. That's why they go out for their extended curtain calls. And believe me, they feed off this stuff. Okay? I'm not going to say they're vampires, but they love the applause. And they actually took time from their curtain call to stop and bring up an issue that they thought was important. Well, as you can see, I don't think you need to worry about gays, lesbians, transsexuals being excluded or persecuted from a Trump administration. You really don't. And the right, you really don't need to be getting butthurt about this. Let's all move on. And I think if we all grow up a little bit, we can all help make America great again. This is Rob Drew reporting for InfoWars.com and InfoWars Nightly News.
These are pictures from 1944 of what happened to George Soros's friends and neighbors. You're a Hungarian Jew who escaped the Holocaust by posing as a Christian. And you watched lots of people get shipped off to the death camps.
Right. I was 14 years old. And I would say that that's when my character was made. It was a tremendous threat of evil. I mean, it was a very personal experience of evil.
And my understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. It was actually probably the happiest year of my life, that year of German occupation.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond being prepared. Our bodies absolutely must have the good halogen iodine or we will die. And you look at all of the thyroid problems and all the people that don't have energy and that have all sorts of hormone problems. And from my research, and a lot of just mainline research, it leads back to iodine over and over and over again. It's as important as vitamin C. If you don't get iodine, you die. But most people are just deficient, so they're low energy, they're sick. You got to have iodine in your body so that your body can produce the hormones you need. It is the base to so many things. And since I got into iodine 4 years ago, we've helped change the entire paradigm by developing and bringing to the public deep earth crystals from 7,000 to 12,000 feet of the purest iodine available. Other iodine comes from the ocean or from other byproducts of chemical facilities and is tainted. It's bound. It's not absorbable. I tried it. And I had incredible effects even with dirty iodine because the body needs it. When you don't have iodine, it absorbs the chlorine, the fluoride, and all these other bad halogens. It's such a game changer if you'll just research iodine for yourself. It's a fact that the federal government in the Midwest back in the 20s mandated a grungier form of iodine to the salt because people had low IQs, they had huge goiters, major problems directly connected to it. There are some studies that show a 15-point increase. Others show even higher. But it really is crazy to realize that this is something that is so deficient in our food chain, so deficient in our played-out fields where different crops are being grown, but the federal government isn't educating people and telling them about it. That's why for a limited time, I want to encourage everyone to go to InfoWarsLife.com and get 20% off on the best nascent iodine out there from our research, truly pure Survival Shield X2. Again, that's Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Thank you for joining us in this brief news update. Do yourself and your family a favor and check out the importance of iodine for yourself. I think you're going to be blown away. And whatever you do, support the broadcast and get a bottle of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Also consult your physician because if you've been deficient in it or have other issues, it can have some dramatic effects. As for me and most folks I talk to, it's been a game changer in the positive column, but still consult your physician because iodine is no joke. It's a key building block of the body. And if you haven't had it for a long time and suddenly have it, some folks say they've experienced things like a detoxing effect and things like that. You've got to have vitamin C. You've got to have iodine to live. You've got to have water to live. Iodine is key. You must have it, but consult your physician first before you get powerful Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2 at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll free. We can answer your questions, 888-253-3139. There is an information warfare happening right now. It's a fight for our minds. And InfoWars.com is on the front lines. Download our free multimedia app at InfoWars.com/app. It's free. It's on Droid. It's on Apple. You name it. InfoWars.com/app. Take action. The same mainstream corporate media that lied to us throughout the campaign, that faked polls, that colluded with the White House and Hillary to try to rig the debates, has now been caught in their biggest lies yet. And this video presentation, this special report, will absolutely destroy them. Exhibit A. The entire corporate dinosaur media, from the New York Times to the Washington Post, London Guardian, are coming out and saying the campaign is imploding, that the transition team is in total disarray, that everyone is involved in a mass exodus, that they can't hire the 4,000 people needed to take over the executive branch. When in truth, they're going in and purging the executive branch of lobbyists. The #1 promise that Donald Trump gave to the American people that he would do as soon as he got into office. So it's not discord when Vice President-elect Mike Pence begins to kick the lobbyist out of the Republican Party. He's telling the henchmen of the special interest that have hijacked this nation, you're fired.
You're fired.
So the collaborator press that works with these multinationals that have hijacked our nation is desperate. They've doubled down on the whole race narrative, but Americans across the political spectrum, regardless of race, color, or creed, or religion, aren't buying it. They love the message of lower taxes and draining the swamp and restoring America's greatness, and Trump means to deliver. So now the new narrative across the board is he's incompetent. He's a joke. He doesn't have a transition team, which really means he's kicking all the lobbyists out. So they're trying to then even withdraw support in Washington to make sure that the bureaucracy rebels against him. And that's why it's key for us to support Trump now more than ever, because we've sent him to Washington to do an incredibly dangerous, dirty job. And remember, no matter what Trump does, they're always going to spin it that it's bad. This is the first president in the last 60, 70 years I've seen that actually does what he says he's going to do by even restricting lobbyists or cutting them back. He is waging war on them. He is delivering in triplicate. So let's look at the facts and see who's really incompetent. We have the media that lied and said he would lose, that got caught giving all the questions to CNN and ABC News and the rest of it. That's all in the WikiLeaks, totally corrupt, trying to deceive the American people. And that same media tells us that Trump is incompetent when he just finished his latest D.C. hotel a year ahead of schedule and massively under budget. And he does that in every other major project he's been involved in. He's known for that. His father was known for that. Look at the energy we saw on the campaign trail. Look at the stamina, breaking all previous records, not just in how many trips he made or how many speeches he gave, but also in the amount of small donations from grassroots people. He is the true populist.
Under budget, ahead of schedule. That's what this is. Under budget, ahead of schedule.
Let's compare that with Obama. When he got into office, there was $2 trillion missing, and that was in the entire history of the Pentagon going back to the late 1940s. In less than 8 years, it ballooned to $6.5 trillion in missing money. Trump under budget, ahead of schedule. Obama tripling the amount of money missing at the Pentagon when he was in office.
Under budget, ahead of schedule. That's what this is.
And the very same big banks and the Clintons behind Obama are the people that got rid of Glass-Steagall. They're the ones that allowed derivatives. They're the ones that basically engineered with the establishment Republicans the massive banker bailout that tagged tens of trillions more of private debt onto the American people, and those debts haven't even been paid back yet. Then let's not forget Obamacare, bipartisanly written by a bunch of central banks and giant multinational insurance companies by the very same establishment Republicans that opposed Donald Trump, who worked with Obama to ram it through. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. It's going to cut your premiums to the cost of a telephone or cable bill. All of this was a sick joke, admitted to be a fraud against the American people. And the main architect, Gruber, even bragged that Obama hired him to deceive the American people. So I guess in a way, it's not total incompetency, it's premeditated evil. But how are you liking the skyrocketing premiums? How are you liking the IRS fining you with penalties? How are you liking being raped by the so-called Democratic Party?
To get a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay? Just like the people, lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to get anything to pass.
Now, juxtapose all that criminality, all that mismanagement, all that colluding, all that rigging with what the media is criticizing Trump with. Last week when he went to D.C. and met with Obama in Congress, he didn't tell the media that he was going to go back to New York. He broke protocol. He didn't let them boss him around and control what he did. But then it got worse. Last night, he went to his favorite steakhouse and didn't tell the media when he did it. This is just outrageous. This is so horrible what he did. He went to a steakhouse with his family. And of course, he got a standing ovation when he came into the packed restaurant that didn't even know he was coming. Oh, and on top of it, he then shook hands for an hour before he ate and promised folks that he was going to be cutting their taxes, just like he promised me on the phone last week. And I've had the Washington Post, the New York Times, so much the old dinosaur media call me and say, what'd you talk about when you were on the phone with Trump? And I've said, you know what? It wasn't a private conversation, but I'm not going to share it with you because you're not real media. You're just using me as a prop. I told the New York Times this to act like you actually interviewed me. You want to spin and twist. But you know what? I will kind of rub it in and tell them some of the conversation. It was laughing at you and how much fun it was for Trump to ignore you and not empower you when you're backstabbing traders that work for foreign banks that are trying to bring this country down. He's doing all this on purpose to show what a joke you are, and then to watch you like toddlers throw giant fits. So again, he's continuing to outsmart all of you. And it's not just Alex Jones and Donald Trump that are laughing. Across the internet, folks are just absolutely loving the way he is trolling you stuck-up, conceited, sycophantic, traitorous, joke-level dirtbags who still don't know why you lost the election. And, of course, I'm just waiting for when Trump tries to take a vacation around Christmas, which I really think at 70 he deserves. I mean, he is an Iron Man, but come on, you deserve to spend some time with your family. Wait, they're going to say it's horrible and he's lazy and bad, despite the fact Obama reportedly took almost 5 months of vacation a year on average. Truly unprecedented. Talk about incompetent. Talk about a lazy ass. Then we've got the EPA with one of the biggest spills in our history. They didn't even try to contain it for several weeks because I guess it's okay when the government dumps a bunch of cyanide into rivers. And while Obama was vacationing and Hillary was napping during the floods in Louisiana and Mississippi, who came and visited? Who donated massive amounts of money? Who went through more than a dozen towns and hand-delivered the aid directly to the people? That's right, the incompetent Donald J. Trump. Speaking of incompetence, we have the vaccine makers of this country who in the 1980s got Congress to pass a law shielding them from liability from their dangerous products. Well, Donald Trump has said vaccines should be investigated, that too many of them are being given, and that he is preparing for investigations into why so much autism is spreading across this country. Again, that's the opposite of the government giving immunity to the drug companies to dump this garbage on the streets. And thank God Donald Trump isn't incompetent and actually cares about America's children. Of course, we all know there's a little bit more than incompetency, and this is part of population control. But when you look at the billions and billions of dollars paid out secretly through the vaccine damage fund that the media tries to keep from the public, it lets you know that the press certainly is incompetent for not doing their job and exposing how deep this rabbit hole goes. But I need to be fair again. When Obama takes overseas vacations at taxpayers' expense, it's not incompetency, it's milking the slaves. I've got to admit it, I am enjoying watching the last dying gasp of the corporate media. It is amazing to see them scramble to try to figure out ways to get the public back on their side. One of their new initiatives is not just to say Donald Trump's incompetent or a racist. They're also saying fake news got him elected. When it's mainstream media that's been caught lying and getting us into these wars and claiming Saddam Hussein had WMDs when he didn't. And it was basically only Donald Trump back at the time that was going on Fox News and CNN saying, don't get into these wars. This is the answer for your children to totally absorb the multivitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, everything at once. Unveil Vitamin Mineral Fusion Advanced Multivitamin Formula, 30 servings, fruit punch flavored dietary supplement. It is simply amazing. InfoWarsLife.com.
There's a million different products like this out there that they're good in different ways. But this takes all of the vitamins, all of the essential amino acids, all of the essential compounds and minerals that you need, puts it into something that's great tasting as opposed to like clumpy, gross stuff. And you can put it in your drink every morning. I put it in my protein shake. It is the platinum standard, in my view, of multivitamins in terms of an advanced multi-drink vitamin.
The cleanest, the purest, new stuff had to be invented. That's why it took this long to even bring us something this good.
Some companies are going to take a small amount of vitamins and make it, so there's so much filler, it looks like there's a lot. This is ultra concentrated. We're not playing games here. Okay, well,
that's my philosophy. That's your philosophy.
Yeah,
I want to, but again, there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah.
And there's other,
No, of course, definitely.
There's other powders I promote at InfoWarsHealth.com.
Yeah,
they're excellent. I mean, there's some good stuff out there. This is just the very best we can bring you. And when you buy it, you support InfoWars, you support the reporters, you support yourself. Tell folks about some of these other things that are in this and why this is just this total, complete package for your body. Because, again, we didn't put the synthetic amino acids. We didn't put the synthetic vitamins. We put the plant-based, high-quality, clean, natural ingredients into this.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got your standard vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin E, the list goes on.
A huge amount of vitamin C, by the way. Tell folks about that.
1,000+% of your daily value, which is what you need. Because the, FDA guidelines, we all know about those. Zinc, magnesium, selenium, L-glutamine. Each one of these, you could go on for about 10 minutes about the benefits of these things. Alpha-lipoic acid, folic acid, calcium, and the list goes on. 34 other ones you can check out. Go to InfoWarsLife.com. The label's up there. You've got the entire ingredients list that you can neurotically examine for yourself. And just...
By the way, look on the other side, too, because we're showing people the... minerals and things. Let's look at the vitamins right there. All it's got in there. I mean, it's amazing.
Top left.
Again, if you're radio listeners, InfoWars.com/show. Vitamin A has 4,333% from beta carotene and what's that other source? I just know that's all the best sources.
Retinol. So you've also got your vitamin D at 1,000 IU, which is a large dose, actually. And you know what? Some people could say, well, isn't this competing with your other products? Well, yeah, you know what? We could be like some people and just take all the stuff that we sell also at InfoWarsLife.com and not put any of it, but then it wouldn't be a balanced formula, and we're not going to do that. And it might actually hurt us in the long run to put all the best stuff in here, but that's just the way we got to do it, because we can't start thinking like that.
So get them today, InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139. My name is Alex Jones. Most of you know me from my syndicated radio program and my documentary films, as well as InfoWars Nightly News. When I got on air 20 years ago, I had discovered the globalist program, their plan to take over the world, and my focus went from running 6 miles every other day, swimming 2-3 miles a couple times a week, and lifting weights, to focusing on fighting the globalists. I've gone from 279 pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Super Male has the key concentrated natural compounds that my body needed to go to the next level. Today is the day to take the InfoWarsLife.com challenge and to secure your bottle of Super Male or Super Female Vitality. Check them out today at InfoWarsLife.com or give our crew a call at 888-253-3139.
We are joined by Jack Posobiec, the Special Operations Director for Citizens for Trump. He was giving me great intel on election night. All of it ended up coming true. But recently, he went inside of Comet Pizza and Ping Pong and got kicked out. Well, one of the biggest trends on Twitter has been the whole Pizzagate thing. And there's a lot of weird activity going on here, a lot of alleged stuff that a lot of people on Twitter are obsessing over, to be quite frank with you. But you actually went to Comet Ping Pong and Pizza. You actually had your boots on the ground. Tell us about what happened.
So that's what I do, Owen, and thanks for having me on tonight. You know, I saw a lot of people were researching Pizzagate, and I saw a lot of people were talking about it. And quite frankly, it had not been something that I had put a lot of effort into, because it really broke just towards the end of the campaign. And at Citizens for Trump, we were working very hard to get Mr. Trump elected, to make sure that we were going to stop the steal, stop the fraud operations that were going on from the Democrats. So I hadn't really paid much attention to it. After Mr. Trump won the election in his electoral landslide, I then started looking at it, and I realized that Comet Pizza was really only about 30 minutes from where I live here in D.C. So I said, well, has any of you guys actually gone to have pizza in the place yet? And I hadn't been one of those people that was, researching it and putting together the spaghetti string, of who's who, tied to Hillary, tied to Podesta, and all the emails. But I said, well, look, guys, if we think that there's something going on, why don't we just go to the place, sit down, order dinner, Periscope it live, and see what happens?
And you did saw what happened, and you saw kind of a strange reaction. But, to me, there's even... I mean, humans have a sixth sense. There's a reason why certain environments make our hair stand up on the back of our necks. There's a reason why we get butterflies. I feel like if you were in this, if you were in this establishment and there was serious activity like this alleged pedophile activity going on, you would kind of sense it. You would sense the weirdness of the place. Just tell me what it was like when you walked in, and then how kind of the staff there treated you.
Weird vibe, man. Really weird vibe. And if anyone wants to go and look up the Periscopes, I'm on Twitter at Jack Posobiec. It's just my name. And from the first moment when we stepped in, the people sort of had that like super extra happy smile. And I don't mean like there was a nice greeter who was there. I mean, like, this is your table. This is going to be a great meal. You're going to have a good time. And then we were asking basic questions, and sort of the answers that we were getting back, with my friend George, and the answers that we were getting back were very shady. They were very non-committal. At one point, we were going into the back room, and so they have this ping pong set up with a foosball table. And I was just saying, oh, foosball. It's like when I was, in the military, we used to always play foosball in the Navy, and on the swim base. And I said, can we play foosball? And like, they didn't know what I was talking about. And even the owner, or I guess the manager who was there, didn't really know what I was talking about. And I said, and I like pointed to it a couple times. And I said, oh, that, yeah. Because there's a foosball table there that clearly hadn't been used in a very long time. So I then look back and see this curtained off area with some chairs behind it. I could kind of see like the outline of some plush chairs and like a flickering light as if it was candlelight. And so I said, bathroom, because I couldn't see any other bathrooms, so I go back there. And meanwhile, I'm looking around, and this is like 9 o'clock at night in a bar in DC, and there's little kids like just randomly sort of walking around, going back and forth from this curtain. People are going back and forth, and the guy's like, oh, no, you come over here to find the bathroom. And we go over, and there's this like, I kid you not, you can see it on the Periscope, it's a secret door that's like, kind of like this flag behind me where a secret door, and like you press it in, and then the bathroom door opens. And I'm looking around, I'm like, what kind of place am I in right now? But meanwhile, even as for just asking really simple, normal questions, I see the manager comes by, he's on the phone, and he's like staring at me, and he's staring at the other guy. And meanwhile, I've only been in this place for about 5 minutes. And then I go and I get to the point where I think I ordered a garlic knot, and it had just come to sit at my table when the manager comes back with 2 Washington, D.C. police officers and says, you need to leave the establishment. I am denying you service.
And was there anything that you did specifically that would have made them want to deny you service?
Absolutely not. He said that he found my Periscope live streaming from inside here, and I'm not allowing that until denying your service. And so all I had titled the Periscope was Dinner at Comet Pizza. I didn't say, Pizzagate. I didn't say any of the allegations. I said Dinner at Comet Pizza. The kind of way you would say, lots of people take pictures and put it on Snapchat, Instagram, that sort of thing. And there are a lot of people around me with smartphones, but for some reason, this guy was completely keyed in. And honestly, I think he'd been tipped off.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it would sound like, especially when they've got all kinds of stuff going on their social media, all kinds of weird pictures. I mean, we've seen the type of weird pictures that have been associated with this place. Just final question on your experience there before I move on to the next topic. Did you see any of that weird artwork?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just even as you first walk in, you see this weird sort of demonic artwork on just to the inside of the front door. And then as you're walking back, you can see this just kind of on the wall above one of the tables, and it looks like this sort of some sort of cross between a zombie and like the girl in The Exorcist, Linda Blair's character, and it's just freaky. Then as you walk back a little further, the wall looked like it had been recently stripped. So there's a possibility that they may have actually taken some of those paintings down.
Pizzagate, it has been trending on Twitter. Certainly some weird stuff there. We'll see if that trend continues and some of the weirdness that just citizens are reporting on and breaking on social media. We'll see if that catches any ground. I want to move on to another topic, Jack, the alt-right. Now, this is something that kind of caught popularity with the Trump movement, and now it's been twisted, demonized, and it's racist, sexist, homophobic, neo-Nazi. What do you think right now? What is the response that we should take to them blaming the alt-right for racism, saying the alt-right is the new platform for racism?
Well, I think the media has decided to say that the only requirements for being a member of the alt-right are that you have